Welcome to Pankinen Financial Perspective with Ashton Pankinen from Pankinen Financial Group. Planning for your financial future means navigating challenges like market volatility, inflation, and retirement income. Pankinen Financial Perspective is here to help by addressing common financial concerns, sharing valuable strategies, and exploring ways you can work toward your financial goals. Now let's get started with Pankinen Financial Perspective.
Hello, and welcome to the Pankinen Financial Perspective. My name's Ashton Pankinen from Pankinen Financial Group. If you'd like more information about what you hear during our show today, give us a call at 952-873-2703 or visit us online at pankinenfinancial.com. That's PANKONIN financial.com. And while at my website, click on the radio page to check out past shows and to subscribe to our program on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. Also, click the link at the top of the page to sign up for our retirement guide or to subscribe to our newsletters. If one of your goals is to retire sometime soon, before the end of 2025 might be an ideal time to meet with your financial service professional. Refine your goals and kick your financial strategy into overdrive. During the show today, we're going to discuss some of the things that should be on your radar as you make the move toward retirement. But before we do that, let's get into today's topic and introduce our co-host, Tony Shore.
All right. Well, it's great to be here. Thank you, Ashton. I'm excited. Talking about retiring early is great because I do know a lot of people who would love to retire early. A lot of people say, hey, I want to retire early. I have no plans to retire anytime soon. I mean, they'll have to drag me away from the microphone. But a lot of times we don't, and a lot of times, unfortunately, we don't get to decide when we retire, right? Yep. We might reach a certain age and maybe we get laid off from our company or there are health reasons. So you do want to start thinking about it and have a plan in place. But I'm one of those lucky people who I'm fortunate enough to have a job I love. And as long as my voice holds out, and I've told you this before, Ashton, as long as my voice holds out, I'm not going anywhere. I want to keep doing the show with you as long as my voice holds out each and every week. How's that sound?
That's awesome. Yep.
Yeah. Are you? Does that scare you at all, though?
A little bit, but no.
That's what I thought. It's like, ooh, I don't know if I want to go that.
I thought I only had you for a couple more years.
Right. I want to let that Social Security grow until I'm 70 and wait to take it until I'm 70. That's my goal. We'll see how I do. Right.
For sure.
So where do you want to begin on this topic today?
Yeah, let's get rolling. We'll look at an article from U.S. News and World Report. If you want to retire in 2026, here's what you need to prep now. So your first step should be optimizing your portfolio. Here's something every retiree needs to know. Retirement isn't just a lifestyle shift. It's a financial one too. You're no longer feeding your accounts. Now you're living off them. And so that means the way you invest needs to evolve as well. And so, Tony, the goal is to balance smart income with growth and risk control. And the article also explains that it could mean a custom mix of bonds, equities, or even dividend-paying stocks that are tailored to your goals and your comfort level. So even high net worth people, we want to rethink how our portfolios are taxed and structured. Because the bottom line, Tony, retirement isn't just about guessing, it's about planning. And you want to work with your financial advisor to make sure you're pulling money from the right places at the right time. That way you may see your income last and taxes shrink and confidence grow in retirement. And so smart moves now, Tony, can help with most everything you've built.
Yeah. And, you want to make the most of it. And like you always say, Ashton, retirement is our reward for decades of hard work, careful planning, financial discipline. So you want to make sure you get everything out of it that you can, right?
Yeah, exactly, Tony. So let's talk about one of the biggest retirement questions out there. How much can you safely withdraw each year without running out of money? You probably heard of that 4% rule. It's a go-to guideline since the 90s. Idea is simple. You take out 4% of your retirement savings each year, adjust for inflation, and you've got a chance at your money lasting 30 years in retirement. But here's the thing, Tony, the 4% rule isn't a law. It's more of a speed limit. And just because the sign says 45 doesn't mean you always drive 45.
Right. Who are we talking about? Have you ridden with me?
Sometimes it's slower and safer, or like you, Tony, maybe it's faster. That makes sense on that speed limit sign.
Sure.
But in the same way, your withdrawal strategy should adjust to your life and the market, not the other way around. There's something called a guardrail system or strategy. It sets flexible boundaries. So when the market's strong, you may be able to draw a little more. And when the things are rough, you may want to pull back a bit so you stay on track. And so recently, Tony, I actually had a client in the office who wanted to spend a little bit more than 4% this year. And now the market's been doing very well. And so it was a good opportunity to take advantage of that and maybe go a little above that 4% rule with the markets doing well. And so, you always want to talk to your financial service professional about how to build a plan that gives you the freedom to enjoy your retirement without second guessing every dollar you spend.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to have to do that or worry about it. That's why you want to work with somebody like yourself, a financial professional. So what does someone hoping to retire, let's say as soon as next year, what do they need to know about taxes? Taxes play a huge part of this, don't they?
For sure. It's a lot of times it's the biggest expense. And so you want to bear in mind that taxes don't retire just because you do. In fact,
Sure.
For many people, taxes become one of the biggest expenses in their retirement. And that's why it's so important to have a strategy, not hope that you're going to have a plan in place. So if your income crosses certain thresholds, you can be paying more in Medicare through something called IRMAA, which is a surcharge that quietly eats into your retirement budget. And don't forget about taxes on dividends, capital gains, and investment income. It can all add up real quick. And so there's a proactive planning. That's where proactive planning may pay off. Working with a financial advisor and your tax professional can help you stay ahead of these surprises, from tax loss harvesting to planning your withdrawals in the right order, knowing which account to pull from. A thorough strategy can help you lower your tax bill and stretch your income further.
Right. And there you go. And, every penny you save or dollar you save on taxes is a dollar or more that you keep in your pocket. Right. That's big. So, and inflation continues, obviously, to be a big topic, especially right now, very timely in the financial news sector. What kind of plan for inflation should someone retiring in the near term have as far as their overall financial strategy goes?
Yeah. For about 35 years now, inflation's kind of the quiet kid in the back of the classroom. From the mid 80s to 2021, it just didn't move much, and retirees didn't have to think too hard about eating away their spending power. But today prices are up and your money needs to work harder just to keep pace. But there are time-tested ways to fight back. Stocks still play a key role, especially for those that want that steady dividend growth. And the article also notes how more investors are now layering in inflation-protected securities, I-bonds, real estate investment trusts, and others to help offset inflation's bite. And once you retire, you can't just stick your money under the pillow. You want to be able to keep up with inflation, and that's an important piece, and that's where those stocks come into play. And at the end of the day, beating inflation isn't about just swinging for the fences. It's about building a strategy that grows your money while protecting what you've already earned. And if you're not sure whether your portfolio is built for this kind of market, now's the time to check in with someone like myself.
Yeah, it really is. I think that you shouldn't try to make any decisions regarding any of this on your own, and to be able to deal with inflation taxes and these types of things, you have to have a plan in place, especially if you're going to retire early. You need to have a solid overall retirement plan that includes retirement income planning, Social Security planning, Medicare planning. And I know you've helped so many people with all of these things. How can our listeners out there get a hold of you to set up a no charge, no obligation consultation?
Yeah, listeners can visit my website, pankoninfinancial.com. That's PANKONIN financial.com. Call my office at 952-873-2703. Again, that number is 952-873-2703 to discuss how we can answer your questions and address your concerns about retirement, your financial strategy, or any other parts of your retirement. It's our goal to help you prepare for the retirement you've worked so hard for.
All right. Well, and I know you love hearing from our listeners out there. So that's great. Now, you've been talking about these steps we need to be taking or should take really soon if we want to retire soon, like in 2026 or in a year or two. During the first segment, you highlighted optimizing your portfolio, withdrawal amounts, planning for taxes, preparing for inflation. Yep. So a very informative show so far. What do you have for us next?
Yeah, let's keep our focus on those hoping to retire in 2026 or shortly after that by next analyzing how much you should currently be saving. One of the most common questions people ask is, how much do I need to save for retirement? And the honest answer is, it depends. There's no one size fits all formula. It comes down to where you are right now, how far you are from retirement, and how much risk you're willing or able to take along the way. If you're closer to retirement or prefer a more conservative investing style, you may need to save more to hit your retirement goals. But here's the good news. Where you save matters just as much as how much you save. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of accounts like a 401k or IRAs to help your money grow without Uncle Sam taking a bite every year. And if you're looking for tax-free income in retirement, Roth accounts could be your best friend because you pay taxes now and keep more later. But don't forget, Roths have some possible drawbacks that can mean they aren't a good fit for everybody, depending on your tax bracket. So you want to be sure to discuss that with your financial advisor. And so if you start staring down 2025 and wondering whether you're on track, now's the perfect time to get strategic, because the right moves today can give you more freedom, more control, and more income in retirement that you've been working so hard for.
Right. And yeah, it's that freedom and control that we all want that's going to help us have a better retirement. You want to be able to not have to worry about these things. You don't want to lay awake at night. So I think that's important. So a lot of people, maybe they're not saving enough. Maybe they need to work a little more or save a little more, but that's where you come in to figure that out, help them figure that out. And as I always say, just like Chicago in politics, save early, save often, right?
Yes, exactly.
Vote early, vote often, save early, save often, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So what do you have for us next?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the first move if you're serious about retirement is to max out your accounts. So if you've got access to a 401k or an IRA, use it and push it to the limit.
Right.
In 2025, those limits are $23,500 if you're under the age of 50, $31,000 if you're over 50 in a 401k, and then $34,750 if your age is 60 to 63 inside that 401k. And then we've also got the IRA limits, whether it be Roth or traditional. It's $7,000 for anyone under 50 and $8,000 if you're 50 or older. And yes, it can be a big number, but not saving will ultimately be a bigger challenge. So don't bank on just Social Security alone. Take control now so your future doesn't belong to chance.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to leave it up to chance. And I would rather leave it up to a trusted financial professional like yourself, who's going to look out for my best interests. But you really want to dig in here and diving into a strategy. You can set that up. And again, 401ks, IRAs, retirement accounts, a lot of people probably don't know where they need to be. Maybe they don't even understand where they're at. So, they might think, oh, I can never get there. It's too big of a number, like you say. But
Yep.
when it comes to socking money away, we all need to pay attention to this. So what are some common benchmarks that our listeners out there need to be aware of, Ashton?
Yeah. And as you mentioned, Tony, let's be real. Not everyone can max out their retirement accounts, and that's okay.
Sure.
A solid target to aim for is to save 15 to 20% of your income. If you can start closer to 20%, that's even better. It's always easier to dial back later than scramble to catch up. And this is simply doable this is usually more doable for younger workers who may not have as many expenses yet. And that early momentum sets the stage for long-term growth. Because in the end, retirement security isn't built on luck, it's built on consistency.
Well, yeah, you're right. It's not built on luck, that's for sure. And let's say saving 15 to 20% is simply too much for some people. Are there options? Do they have options at that point?
Yeah, let's say that 15% just isn't in the cards right now. That's okay. The truth is, saving something is always better than saving nothing. Start where you can. Build the habit. Consistency matters more than perfection. So as life throws you extra income, a bonus, a raise, a gift, maybe even an inheritance, don't let that money sit idle. Put it to work. That's how to start closing that gap. And if you've got a 401k with a company match, at the very least, grab that match. It's free money. It's momentum. When they give you that 3% match, again, it's like getting a 3% raise. So you want to make sure you take advantage of that. And for Gen X, saving can be all the more challenging because you're pulled in every direction with aging parents, kids' weddings, and rising costs. So retirement can feel like things that always get pushed back, but your future self will thank you for any effort you make today to save. Start small, stay consistent, and use every tool available, because the goal isn't just to retire, it's to retire well. This week, I met with someone in their mid-20s saying, "God, I wish I would have started earlier." But again, better than waiting till their mid-30s to start.
Yeah.
And so again, early and often, create that habit.
Man, I wish I'd started in my 30s, let alone my 20s.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If I'd known then what I know now, it's like the old saying, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
When's the second best time to plant a tree? Today. So, so that's right. And if you don't have a plan for saving, or you don't think you're currently saving enough for retirement, work with a financial professional. Give Ashton a call. That's going to be a huge help. So, what do you have for us next here?
Yeah. So you're wondering not just how much to save this year, but how much you should save for retirement overall. So first off, good on you. That's a kind of a big picture thinking that pays off down the line. And there's no one size fits all answer for this either, Tony. But a starting point is to look at how much you typically spend in a year. And remember, if your retirement savings are in traditional 401k or IRA, taxes still get their cut. Like a $10,000 a month lifestyle, you might actually have to take out $12,500 to keep pace with Uncle Sam taking out his share. And so some people say you'll only need 80% of your pre-retirement income. But honestly, I don't buy that. Most people want to live fully in retirement, not shrink their lifestyle. A lot of times they have more time and freedom for hobbies. So I say plan on needing 100% and then multiply that number by 25. And that gives you a rough target for what you'll want to save. So for example, if you make $100,000 a year, multiply that by 25, $2.5 million is that number. You may say, well, why so much? Because healthcare costs go up, long-term care is expensive, and your expenses don't magically disappear just because you've stopped working. So save like your future depends on it, because it does.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I'm glad you pointed that out. Now, for our listeners out there who want to get a plan in place that includes these things like healthcare costs, how are those going to be covered if I retire soon or when I do retire? How can they get a hold of you to set up that consultation? And I know there's no charge or obligation, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. They can give my office a call. It's the best way to reach us, 952-873-2703. Again, that number is 952-873-2703. Or visit us on our website, pankinenfinancial.com. That's PANKONIN financial.com. Visit our past shows, click our links for our retirement guide, and sign up for our newsletters.
All right. That sounds great. I encourage our listeners to do that and to go to your website, because they can go to our show page there and they can click on the radio page to check out our past shows. We're also available. You can listen to the shows right there on the site. There's a contact form there, or you can there's links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, where you can subscribe at no charge to the show as a podcast on your device or your phone or your computer. So that's good too. Now, you've been talking about some of the things we need to do in the coming months. If one of our goals, if a financial goal is to retire in the next year or two, what do you have for us in our final segment today?
Yeah, I want to push forward with the topic of preparing for retirement and saving by next considering what your net worth should be before you can retire. Another article here that we've been looking at, it analyzes what it means to be wealthy during retirement. And let's clear something up. There's no magic number that makes you ready for retirement. The money you save is there to fund your life, not someone else's idea of what wealth looks like. And so being wealthy in retirement isn't just about hitting that $1.5 million or $10 million number. It's about having freedom, peace of mind, and the ability to live the life on your terms without financial stress breathing down your neck. So sure, financial institutions love benchmarks. For example, 5 million is often called high net worth, and 10 million plus puts you at a very high territory, but it's just a label. Real wealth is about how well your assets work for you. It's about strategy and how your portfolio is structured, and how you officially generate income, how taxes are managed, and how you protect what you've built. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you have, it's about what you can do with it, Tony.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really important. And as you've noted before, whether it's your financial strategy or your retirement strategy, both go hand in hand. There's not going to be a one size fits all solution or strategy, is there? I mean, I see these articles all the time, Ashton, why you need at least $1.2 million to retire, right? And the number has changed over the years. They say you need this amount or that amount. And I always laugh at those articles because everybody's situation is different. As you've mentioned before, you have clients that have retired comfortably on $500,000. Yep. You have clients that needed at least $10 million to retire and live the lifestyle they want. So it all depends on where you're coming from, where you're going, what your goals are, what the reality of your situation is. But there are different amounts for different people. And that's one more reason to work with a trusted financial professional who isn't just going to try to put you in a cookie cutter mold, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so again, we want to determine what your likely income needs are.
Right.
So if you have an expensive retirement hobby, such as owning horses, collecting records.
Oh, you worked that one in there. Ouch. Yeah.
Sailing or flying a private plane, you'll need to account for what you decide your income will require. But even if you envision a simpler lifestyle that includes gardening, playing pickleball at the local park, you still have to be sure you've covered your bases. The article argues that the traditional 4% rule is outdated. Though, as we noted earlier in the show, some advisors still believe it's a good fit for many of the clients. The 4% rule was conceived in the 90s with the aim of ensuring you won't outlive your savings, although current low bond yields, longer life expectancies, and market volatility are causing some financial advisors to reconsider the rule. And so, a chart from the S&P 500, there wasn't any growth during that time frame between 2000 and 2013, while other asset classes like small caps and international indexes did show signs of gains amidst market volatility. So again, you want to be well diversified and make sure you have a good portfolio put together to weather that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that makes perfect sense. Look at the portfolio. Do you have your assets in the right places? So, and if I understand you correctly here, a solid retirement then may come down to flexibility, right? Maintain your flexibility and your willingness to change as much as anything else.
Yeah, that's right. Flexibility is king. There's one of the biggest challenges in retirement planning, and it doesn't get talked about enough, is what happens when the market stalls or swings like a wrecking ball, for that matter.
Yeah.
And we've seen it even in early 2025. A well-diversified portfolio took some big hits. Stocks, bonds, gold, silver were all down. So if you're using a rigid withdrawal strategy, that could be dangerous territory. You could end up pulling money out during a downturn, locking in those losses, and even leaving yourself less for the future. That's why today's retirement income strategy has more to do than just hitting a number. It has to be flexible. We want to make sure it's tax efficient and built to handle real world conditions like volatility, inflations, and those RMDs that we have to do, required minimum distributions, every year.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. And yeah, those RMDs, required minimum distributions, once you reach a certain age, you're going to have to take money out of certain accounts. You're going to have to pay taxes on it. So again, that's an area you don't want to mess up on. You don't want to make costly mistakes there.
For sure.
Ashton, in your estimation, what's the single most important goal when it comes to retirement planning?
Yeah, your single most important goal and one of the people's biggest worries is to simply not run out of money during retirement.
Right.
And here's the truth, Tony. No two people get the same investment results in their retirement. That's because we have all different timelines, different strategies, and let's be honest, different reactions to when the market gets a little wobbly. But the one thing that consistently works is having a plan and sticking to it. And so too much in cash and inflation slowly eats away at your spending power. Too much in stocks and one bad year could hit you hard, especially when you're not working and you can't just wait it out, maybe like a 30-year-old investor. And so the key is balance. You want growth where it makes sense and safety where it matters. And then your strong strategy needs to fit your life and not just some chart. So playing it too safe and you risk falling short. And if you take on too much risk, you could lose what you built.
Do you have anything else for us before we draw the curtain on today's show?
No, again, the biggest thing is we just want to make sure we have that strategy in place. And if you're not confident on your strategy, feel free to give us a call and we can set up an appointment to review that. Our office number, 952-873-2703. Again, that number is 952-873-2703. Or visit us at our website, pankininfinancial.com. That's PANKONIN financial.com.
All right. Well, Ashton, great show today. Great topic. I know there are a lot of listeners out there who probably do want to retire soon. And so they should set up a meeting with you, pick up the phone and give Ashton a call or go to that website. And thanks for tuning in. That does it for today's episode of the Pankinen Financial Perspective with our host, Ashton Pankinen.
Thank you for joining us for Pankinen Financial Perspective. Don't head into retirement without a plan for both your finances and your health. For more information, contact Ashton Pankinen at Pankinen Financial Group at 952-873-2703 or visit pankininfinancialgroup.com. Join us again soon for another episode of Pankinen Financial Perspective. Advisory services are offered by Ashton Pankinen LLC DBA Pankinen Financial Group, an investment advisor in the state of Minnesota.
All matters discussed during this show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.